Hello, my name is Seongjun An Math Class, and I'm here to teach you quadratic equation. A quadratic equation is any equation having the form where x represents an unknown and a, b, and c represent known numbers, with a is not equal to 0. The simplest form of quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx minus c equals 0. For example, 6x squared plus 11x minus 35 equal to 0 is a quadratic equation because we all know what is the x and ABC has their value. But 6 plus 5 is not a quadratic equation because it doesn't have an x that is unknown and doesn't have the values of a, b, and c. Then how do we solve the quadratic equation? There are 4 ways to solve: graphing, factoring, quadratic formula, and completing the square. But in this video, we will just learn how to use factoring and quadratic formula to solve quadratic equation. The first way that we'll learn is quadratic formula. Quadratic formula, as it says in the name, is a formula that is made just to solve the quadratic equation. And the equation is minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. To give you a better understanding of the quadratic formula, I will give you some examples. The first example is 2x squared minus 3x minus 4. A is 2, b is minus 3, and c is minus 4. Here's the correct formula, and we just need to plug them as it says. We'll first plug in minus 3 in b, then minus 0 again in b, 2 in a, minus 4 in c, and again 2 in a. If we plug them all correctly, it will show like this: minus times minus 3 plus minus square root minus 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times minus 4 over 2 times 2. And this will turn into this equation: 3 plus minus square root 9 plus 32 divided by 4. And since there is plus and minus, we can separate into two different equations. The first one will be 3 plus square root of 41 divided by 4. And the second one will be 3 minus square root of 41 divided by 4. Then if we put them into the calculator, we will get 2.35 and minus 0.851. In the next example, the equation is x squared plus 2x minus 15. The a is 1, b is 2, and c is minus 15. Like we did in the next example, we just need to plug them in their place. If we plug them in on the place, we will get minus 2 plus minus square root 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 15 over 2 times 1. If we simplify them, we will get minus 2 plus minus square root of 64 over 2. And since we can simplify square root of 64, we will get plus minus 8. Then we will get minus 2 plus minus 8 divided 2. Then, if we separate them into two different equations like last example, we will get 6 over 2 that can simplify into 3 and minus 10 over 2 that can simplify into minus 5. The next way to solve quadratic equation is by factoring. Factoring is like splitting an expression into multiplication of simple expression. We use this way to solve an quadratic equation that cannot be solved as it is. We will simplify them and then solve. Here is an example of factoring. X squared plus 4x plus 3 can be simplified into x plus 3 times x plus 1. Here is an example of how to use factoring to solve quadratic equation. The first quadratic equation we will use is 3x squared plus 33x plus 30 equals 0. We can divide them by 3 to have a simpler one. Then we can simplify into two different equations, that is x plus 1 times x plus 10 equals 0. Now, since we have two equations that is equal to 0, we can just find the answer making them equal to x. In the first equation, we will have x is equal to negative 1, and in the second equation, x equal to negative 10. In the second example, we will do exactly the same as in the first example. We will simplify them into two different equations and make them equal to x. The equation is 2x squared and 7x plus 3 equals 0. We will divide them into 2x minus 1 times x minus 3 equals 0. Then we will put those equations equal to 0 and solve for x. In the first equation, the x will be 1 over 2, and in the second equation, the x will be equal to 3. Thank you for watching my video. Please leave a like and click subscription and leave a comment.